Hello everyone, this is CJNovo992 and today we're back for another brand new video. Now today's video is all about European football as we set our sights on yet more European glory this season as we march on to the round 16 of the Europa League that will somehow, some way be less stressful than Dens Park on Sunday. Now I'm having a wee bit of laugh there, but also I'm deadly serious because that will be what happens on Sunday. But we're not here to talk about Scottish football. Let's talk about the glitz and glamour of European football, and with that we'll start right off with the oppositional preview by having a look at Zvezda and see what they've got to offer. Now I know what you're thinking, people. I don't know what that pronunciation actually was, but I tried, people. You know what I mean? You miss every shot you didn't take in life. It's just unfortunate for me. I also miss the shots that I did take, but nonetheless, pushing that to one side, I think I'll do every single person in the world a favour. Let's click on today's video. I will stick with how they're known at this part of the world, and that is of course by the name of Red Star Belgrade. Now that is a name, depending on your age or anything like that, will bring back some tough games and tough memories. And for guys like myself, I'm thinking of this kit in a very tough game. And if you're on the younger side of things, you've not really heard that name, you don't really know too much about it, I think it's fair to say you should be expecting a tough game coming tomorrow, because that is what we're coming up against in this thing. Because if you go ahead and you look at their league form, people, they have only lost once all season long. 26 games into their season, they have lost just one. So what's even more impressive to actually mention is they've only got 3 draws during that run, as well. Because I think if you just say the win-loss column, sometimes that can kind of paint you a different picture. Because you look at our season so far, we've not got that many losses, but we've got a hell of a lot of draws where we've just flung away games and said, "Here, Ross County, here's some points. Hello, Aberdeen, do you want some of these?" We threw games away and we've played poorly. So I felt it was important to mention they've only got 1 loss and 3 draws in 26 games in the league this season. They know how to get it done, people. In fact, you need to go all the way back to the 4th of November. Remember the 4th of November for the last time Red Star lost a game. You know, until tomorrow night, of course. But looking back into that run, that is 16 games that's passed in all competitions since the last time Red Star actually tasted defeat. That is an incredible run that shows you the type of test that we've actually got. Because I've seen some people try and talk this game down or this opposition down, and for me, I just didn't get it. Is it laziness? Are they just glancing at it? Are they seeing second in the table and assuming they're crap? Because we've already spoke about the incredible league season they're having. It's just unfortunate they're also up against another team that's having an incredible frickin' season. But there's only 2 points in the actual league, and I'm sure by the end of the season, if Red Star continues to play the way that they will, they'll probably end up in the top spot. But for all this talk about how this is an easy game or anything like that is absolute nonsense, people. Again, 16 games has passed since the last time they tasted defeat, but speaking more about that actually gives me the perfect transition, because the last time they lost a game of football was actually in the Europa League as they lost to familiar foe FC Midtjylland 1-0 in a narrow game of football that did see Red Star finish the game with 10 men. Now, of course, with that and with everything I've said so far about tomorrow's opposition, you could probably piece together that was their only loss in the group stages as well. Again, this team doesn't lose very often, people, as they're able to rebound from that and see the group and finish league leaders in a group that maybe necessarily didn't have big names in it, and some people trying to talk that down, and that's well, saying it's an easy group. But for me, it was a competitive group, and it's almost a group with a more familiar names for Scottish football, because not only did it have FC Midtjylland in it, but I had Braga, we all know about them, and obviously Ludogorets as well, who slapped Celtic about and everything like that as well. So that was a group of competitive teams who would have all fancied it. There wouldn't have been anyone limping into games or anything saying, "Oh, we've not really got a chance here, maybe we'll rotate." No, this was a team that everyone was battling for, and the team that stood above everyone else at the end of the day was Red Star on 11 points, and they managed to get a bye into the next round, people. That's right, where we had to go up against the European German giants by the name of Dortmund and do what we'd done not too long ago. Red Stars was sitting with their feet up watching to see who the next opposition was, and some reports are even claiming that when the draw was done, they were absolutely delighted that they drew versus Rangers. We'll see if that delight and happiness remains at the end of the second tie, because I can remember seeing a lot of other reports and people being delighted from the Dortmund perspective when they drew Rangers, and we saw how that went. So aye, keep doubting us and keep laughing at us, and hopefully we continue to show everyone up. But talking about we'll see and everything like that, we'll see if they'll be happy, we'll see if they'll be delighted at the end of the tie. Let's talk about something we will definitely see, and that is how they go about their business, how they set up, and what we expect to see coming from this team tomorrow. Now, I would love nothing more than to be able to sit here and tell you that it's going to be as wide open and they're going to be as vulnerable as Dortmund are at the back. Genuinely, I'd have loved to have sat here and said that, but that is no who this team is. This isn't how they go about their business. They line up in a 4-2-3-1, very aggressive formation where they are structured and rigid in the middle of the park. They're two holding players. They are a lot of the dirty work, a lot of the running, a lot of the hard yards, and the front four people can swap around at will and hurt you for anywhere, because this isn't a team that's overly reliant on a centre forward, and if you can take him out of the game you weaken them and or anything like that. No, that is the exact opposite. You take one piece away, another piece will hurt you, because looking at Red Star so far this season, they have been lightning going forward. I mean, the left winger and centre attacking mid combined for 38 goals between themselves, people. That's a left winger and a centre attacking frickin' mid alone. 38 goals and that's what I'm talking about. If you take that side away, the other side opens up and everything like that, because they are capable of going wide, they're capable of cutting in, and again, as you can imagine from the goal tally that we're talking about, this isn't a team that overly passes the ball or wants to score the perfect goal. No, they will shoot if they get the slightest opportunity to shoot, especially their centre attacking mid. And I didn't want to jinx it or anything like that, but that is a guy who lives and breathes long shots, people. So we can't set off this team or we will be hurt by cut inside and those long range shots. And that's all really good to say about tomorrow's test, people. It's going to be a difficult one. It's a big, physical, experienced side as well, who can hurt you for set pieces. And I know you've probably heard that a lot now, and you're probably expecting that going into the games now, because they do score a lot of set pieces. You know how dog meat we are at protecting and defending set pieces, so that will play its part. But I'm not wanting to just sit here and repeat the same stuff every single preview. With how badly we defend set pieces, it's an advantage to every single team that we actually play. But I wanted to mention that otherwise they can hurt us, and again, that is the freaking long range. And the best way I can summarise this team, if you just want a quick little soundbite to tell you exactly what you need to know about tomorrow, is where Dortmund were built to score goals but vulnerable at the back. This challenge that we face tomorrow is well structured. They didn't really excel in one thing and be vulnerable at another. They're just a well-oiled machine, people, that rarely lose football games, and that's been their season so far. And you know, so that gives us the perfect transition into the All Rangers side of today's video, because we just spoke about how well organised they are, the structure, the well-oiled machine and everything like that, and where they could hurt Rangers coming in tomorrow. But they've got one little thing that I think we'll be able to hurt and everything. Again, it's not a glaring weakness or that, but they're not the quickest side in the world, people. And if you look at what our strengths are in European football, it's the transitions, it's the counter-attacks, it's the pace of Ryan Kent, it's the runs of Joe Rebo in behind and everything like that. So I feel like that could be what makes or breaks us being successful tomorrow, is taking the opportunities and the transitions to get after them and hurt them, because again, they're not the quickest team. And I know there's going to be people jumping right into the comments. As soon as I post this video, there'll be some people saying, I don't care about European football, I wish they played as well as they did in Europe as they did in the league. And listen, I understand the frustrations and understand that and everything like that, because we talked about it first line in today's video, the stress of Scottish football versus the pleasure of watching us in Europe. And I can understand where the frustration in that comes in, but for me, I think that is a little bit harsh, because one of the ways we are successful in Europe is the exact reason we all get stressed when watching Scottish football, and that is the space. We didn't face 8, 9, 10, 11 at the back. We're not facing strikers coming back and playing fullbacks for 90 minutes with people gone doing time wasting the entire game. That just doesn't happen in Europe. There is that space there, and if you give space to the likes of Ryan Kent and everything like that, you get the results that we get every single Thursday. So that's the way I see that whole, oh, they only care about Europe and they didn't care about the league. I didn't believe in that at all, people. It's just about what we're actually facing week in and week out. And I think for the likes of Red Star, they'll come here and I think they'll play their game and that as well, where it isn't so wide open like a Dortmund and that, but they still go forward. They've still got people that pile forward, and they've got two hard-working centre defensive mids. But if you can get one of them, to bite, there is counter-attack opportunities there. And for me, that'll be one of the ways we really hurt this team tomorrow. It will be on the counter. It will be at pace and hopefully we're all sitting here smiling, and hopefully there's people complaining that we never turn up and playing Scottish football the same way we do in Europe, because if they're saying that, people, it means we've had a very, very good day tomorrow night, and that's exactly what we need, not only because it's the first leg in the tie or anything like that, we always want to see our team win, but with how formidable that this team is at their own patch, we really, really need a performance, and we need a result in tomorrow's game. But that's all I really wanted to say. I kind of wanted to touch on the vibes and that's around the place, because I know the Scottish League's disappointing and everything like that, but I just wanted to back the players a little bit, because to me it's not as if they're trying here and no bother there. It's just a completely different game, being able to go out there and play football that we all love to see versus the slog that we have to play in Scottish football because the other team doesn't actually want to play. So moving away from all that and where I think Rangers will be able to hurt them using their pace, let's talk about the players on the park then, shall we? Because we've got a couple of interesting updates about who's available and who's not. The first one being Aaron Ramsey is available, people, but it won't be starting, which again, for me, maybe, am I being dumb? Like, why do we keep telling teams that Ramsey won't be starting games of football? Should we not be bluffing, playing mind games and saying, yes, he's in contention, I'll let you know? Remember what Gerrard used to do? That way the opposition actually needs to put a wee bit of research, maybe put a game plan. If Ramsey's starting, it needs to be this or that. You know what I mean? Doesn't really make sense to me, people, but at least Aaron Ramsey is available to come off the bench if and when required. Someone who won't be available though tomorrow is going to be Stephen Davis, who continues to be out. We did get a very interesting soundbite from Giovanni after talking about who's available and that. He said we have a few doubts, but he didn't go into any explanation of who these doubts actually were, so you can make up your mind up and everything. It's not Ramsey, so don't even start or anything like that, but there is a few doubts for tomorrow's game, but there was no other information on that. Apart from Stephen Davis, the only two players we know who won't be a part of tomorrow's game is of course Hadji, who's out for the rest of the season, and our boy Phil Hollander, who isn't a part of the Europa League squad. But with that being said, it's mostly positive news in my opinion. The only lingering thing is what's happening with Stephen Davis, but apart from that, it's positivity on the Rangers team news, so I'm handing it over to you guys now. That's everything we've really got to talk about. That's the oppositional preview, that's the Rangers conversation, and that is the latest Rangers team news. Now all that's left for me and thee today is take all that, digest it and try to predict the game of football. So let's hear it, people. What are you expecting to see from tomorrow's game? Who would you like to see in that back line as well? Do you bring back in Liam Balogun? Do you play Bassem Barisic? Where are you sitting with that? Hopefully you're getting involved in the comment section below, and whilst you go ahead and do that, I will wrap up today's video with my prediction. Again, I'm expecting Rangers to go out here and have a game and say, we've not seen that in a few weeks, but again, we've touched on why we didn't see that very often, why there is that drastic difference. I'm expecting Rangers, as Rocky has a scratch of the old arse cheeks there, is to come out here and win this game. Rangers 2, Red Star 0. That's right, people, I'm going for the clean streak to continue somehow, some way against a team that knows how to put the ball into the back of net. But I just think atmosphere, everything like that, will be a wonderful day. I hope it is anyway. So that's all really good to say about the game of football. It's time for me to wrap it up now. And if you've got involved in the comment section below, I will be speaking to you very, very shortly. But until tomorrow after the game, which will be about 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning as usual, take care of yourselves, everyone. Enjoy the game. All the best and bye-bye.